Hey guys, in this week's video, I'm gonna share with you guys the secret to trade well in harmonic trading. Yeah, so to emphasize this point well, I'm gonna use some examples that I talked about last week, and you will be able to understand totally why this secret ingredient is essential to your success in harmonic trading. Also, I will be previewing the market for next week, where the highlights will be on Aussie dollar, Euro pound, and on the pound dollar. So without further ado, let's get started! So last week, I actually previewed 4 setups that could happen. Eventually, 2 out of these 4 setups happened, and I'm now here to review what happened to them to you. Okay, so the first one I'll talk about is on the pound Aussie. So for the pound Aussie, what I told everyone is that at 59.30, this could be the big reversal point on the daily chart. Yeah. So what happened eventually? After FOMC, it actually came down to 59.30, and it did a 170 pips bounce off it. Yep. So it was really nice. So going forward next week, what I see is that on Tuesday there will be a monetary policy news on the Aussie. This is when the Aussie dollar could move, and it could move either way. So what I have done is that I've updated my followers on TradingView to shift the stop loss to 1.6. So no matter what, you will actually pocket about 40 pips of profit. Yep. And if the Tuesday the news comes out favorable for pound Aussie, if the Aussie news is bad, pound Aussie will strengthen. It could break this I don't know how many months long triangle, and it could finally move up towards our profit target around 1.67. Yep. So Tuesday's news is critical. I expect not much movement on Monday, but I have started to protect my position to ensure this is a risk-free trade. Yep. So this is what you should be doing too, and I will keep you guys posted and updated in my trading view. Okay, the second setup that happened was on dollar yen. Yep. I was telling everybody wait for a pullback into the 115 to 115.30 zone before a short, and this was actually what happened. It really did a nice pullback into the zone, and it just dropped and hit the profit target of at 112.80. Yeah, but my problem is that for this trade, I was actually waiting for this M15 pattern to complete. I was being greedy again. I was trying to get in at the best possible price once again. Yeah, and what happened was that I missed out on about 220 pips of profit, and it's another regret. So I actually share with you guys all the good things and the bad things that I do every single week, hoping that you can learn from me. Yeah. So the takeaway from this setup is that going forward, once I identify a good pattern on H4, I will just short on any pullback into the zone. I don't have to wait for another lower time frame pattern to complete, because it might not always complete. Yeah. And this was a good lesson for me. I hope that eventually I will start to learn my lessons and get better in my trading. Yeah. So this is a real waste. 240 pips of profit wasted. Yeah. But at least there was no loss on this. Yep. Okay. I also talked about euro dollar last week, and euro dollar could actually complete this bearish shark pattern in the upcoming week. So do take a look. The dollar news came out to be favorable for the dollar, but the dollar actually weakened. So fundamentally, I really I do not understand much about it, but I trust my charts more than anything else. So next week, when the euro dollar comes up back to 1.0790 to 1.08, this is the zone I will watch out for. RSI divergence. I will watch out for candlestick reversal, a pin bar setup. To actually signal me to go short on it. Yeah. If all this does not happen, and the price just breaks up above 1.08 convincingly, then this whole setup is invalidated. At least I did not get in. At least I do not lose a single cent on it, and I will be looking for opportunities to go long upon the break of this PRZ. Yep, this is how you trade both ways of the harmonic patterns. Yep. Okay, so I'm done with the review. Next up, I want to talk about 3 setups that could happen next week. The first one is on Aussie dollar. So just let me do a refresh on my page. Okay, so Aussie dollar is interesting. Why? Because there is a shark pattern that completes on the H4 chart. There is also a shark pattern that is completing on the daily setup. Okay, let me share it with you. Okay, this is the H4 shark setup, and this is the daily shark setup that completes around 77.50. Okay, let me hang it out there. 77.50. Yep. So this zone here between 77.20 all the way to 50 is very critical. Yeah. So what do I feel about getting two patterns on a single currency pair on different time frame? So what I actually, upon further inspection, I realized that the shark pattern on the daily chart, the point C here, actually exceeded the BA 161 point a little bit. But the good thing is that within 2 or 3 candles, it actually closed back in, and I'm pretty comfortable with this setup. But I'm more comfortable with the H4 setup, where all the rules are obeyed, are respected very clearly. Yeah. So next week, how I'm gonna trade this Aussie dollar is that I'm gonna wait for a nice reaction at the Pirazi. So H4 77.20. If this zone is broken above, I will not be surprised. But the 77.50 zone, which is the bigger shark, that zone has to hold. Yeah. So this is a full 2 zones of reaction on 2 different time frame, and the only way I'm gonna trade these 2 setups is a clear rejection of either 77.20 or 77.50. Yeah. When there's no rejection, there's no pin bar, and the price just breaks right above it. Tuesday this setup will actually complete for, I think it's likely to complete, and because of the Aussie news. So Tuesday we will know what to do. If the Aussie strengthens like crazy and just closes above 77.50, then this whole setup is invalidated, and I will wait for any retest back into the zone to go long on the Aussie dollar. However, if Tuesday, the price rejects 77.20 or 77.50 and it starts coming down, that's when you know that, alright, now is the time, let's go short on this shark pattern, and prepare to ride at least until 75.20 for our profit target to hit. Yeah, so this is how we're going to trade Aussie dollar, and feel free to drop me any questions in the discussion box below so that I can answer them for you. Yeah, credits to Knife Me on TradingView, one of my followers, for asking this question, which I guess many of you guys will be having trouble deciding on how to execute this setup, and this is the way on how I'm going to execute my setup. Yep. Okay, second I want to talk about EUROPOUND. EUROPOUND, this setup I posted on Friday. So I expect this shark pattern to complete on 88 on EUROPOUND. Yep. So right now it's hovering around 86.60 to 87 right now, right here. You're right at support. So I will not be surprised if the euro strengthens next week and hit 88, so that I could monitor this 88 level for any form of rejection or RSI divergence for me to go short on it on this shark pattern. If price does not come to 88, there will be no trade. If price just breaks above 88 convincingly, and it does not close back into the zone within the next 2 to 3 candles after Pirazi is completed, there will be no trade on the EUROPOUND, and this whole setup will be invalidated. However, if the price shows clear rejection at 88 and a nice pin bar, I will be entering the trade around 88, and my first target will be at the 86.15 level, which is the reciprocal ABCD move of this leg here. Yeah. So this is how we're gonna trade EUROPOUND. Last but not least, I want to talk about pound dollar. So pound dollar strengthened after FOMC, and even though the dollar strengthened. Yeah. So I'm expecting pound dollar to go not much above 1.25. The highest it could go is 1.25, where there's this super strong trendline resistance on the H4 chart. Yep. So it could come here and finally come down and hit the profit, the entry level around 1.2050 to 70. Yeah. So if the price just breaks above 1.25, closes above this trend line, and does not come back into the zone within the next 2 to 3 candle, I know that this whole setup is invalidated and there will be no trades on the pound dollar for the near future. However, if in the next week, pound rallies and it touches 1.25, after that it comes down, then I know that this bad setup is still valid and I could be looking to long around this 1.2050 to 70 setup. I'm in the zone here. Yep. So guys, this is how I'm gonna trade next week. And before I'm done with the video, just a few event highlights. Okay, go to my website at harmonicforex.com. Click on upcoming events, and you can actually see that next week I have two events. One is a live seminar that's happening in Singapore, so this only applies to those of you guys who are stationed and residing in Singapore. You can come and meet me live at IG Singapore on Wednesday 7 p.m. I will be speaking to a crowd of about 30 packs. Yep, so I hope to see you there if you want to learn some advanced harmonics pattern trading knowledge from me. Yep. Second is on my webinar. So I have decided to take away all this registration process for my webinars, and on Thursday 9 p.m. I'm gonna be doing my webinar again with you guys. So I'll give you guys a reminder on Wednesday, and one final reminder on Thursday about my webinar that's gonna happen on Thursday 9 p.m. Singapore time. So if you guys are interested, come talk to me, come listen to me in my webinar, where I'm gonna share with you guys what's happening for the week and how you can profit together with me in harmonic trading on the forex and indices market. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. All this encouragement and testimonials that you guys are sending me. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys continue to benefit more from my sharing. Thank you very much. Talk to you guys next week. Goodbye.